All right. What's up, everybody? This is Science of Peace Podcast. I'm your host, Yogi Chris, PhD, founder of Ninth Flame Yoga, the yoga of communication. I'm going to make sure you guys are hearing me through the mic, of course. Yeah, the right mic. So I titled this Sexual Chakras because of some new realizations. A couple of words distinguished these ideas for me. You know, I've talked a lot about chakras for like 10 hours or so in the silent flute. I have a bunch of lectures and some guided meditations that come from different guys. A guy that invented yin yoga, Yogananda, Paramhansa Yogananda, and Judith Lazater, and my own personal experiences. BNS Iyengar had a lot to say about chakras. You know, the mind is so chaotic and life is so stimulating. It's very difficult to see subtle body stuff. And I don't know how essential it is either, because if you read The Selfish Gene, which you shouldn't, but you could, by Richard Dawkins, and it talks about there's no such thing as altruism, that in an altruistic society, a selfish person would be born, they would win, and then their genes would spread and it would become a selfish society. And then in a selfish society, an altruistic person would be born and they would win because everybody would want to be friends with them. And then altruism would spread and it would bounce back and forth until there's this stable equilibrium. It kind of fluctuates a little bit, but selfish altruism became the thing because it just makes sense logically. Now, the surface of Earth is very difficult. We eat other living organisms. We sexualize children. We, just herd each other for the agenda of a few at the top. I mean, it's not really so different than like an ant colony or a beehive or something. And there's like a queen and then everybody else is like expendable. Like if you consider the ratio of like the elite rulers of the planet compared to the size and numbers of everybody else, it's way more than an ant colony and like queen ant or queen bee or whatever. It's that reptilian kind of hive mind. Hive meaning like a beehive or a hornet's nest. It's a hive mind. I don't know if a hornet, I don't know what hornets do, but on a prison planet, an altruistic person would be taken advantage of greatly. A selfless person, a spiritual person would be taken advantage of. A kind, nice, innocent person would be taken advantage of. Just like in an altruistic society, a selfish person is born randomly through mutation, and it takes advantage because they'll take advantage of all the altruistic people, while the altruistic people, never knowing selfishness, would just give. So the selfish person would far beat everybody. But somewhere in between, there's this people will give in order to receive. There's this exchange, the law of exchange that comes into play, which would be fine and fair enough in a sane society. Now add to it the agenda of people in control of media and the images that steer our emotions. When you want to go into the subtle body, I can tell from my experience, and I can only tell you as far as my experience, that as you still the mind, deeper impressions come up. Okay, as you still those, deeper impressions come up. As you still those, and the more and more you become absorbed in presence and observation of your thoughts, and practice, the thoughts, the mind settles. And if you can remove yourself from a lot of stimuli or familiarity, let's say I went to India, so there was very little familiarity. So it was very easy to be reclusive and not feel as if I was missing out or anything. I was also flat broke, like nothing, just enough to buy rice. I'd already paid for the training and I had my plane ticket home, So just inward and settle the mind, because there's so many impressions. As you do that, you'll see deeper, and it may come up as visuals. As your mind de-stresses, you'll come up with just like daydreaming. Just like night dreaming. You'll dream while you're meditating. You'll dream while you're doing yoga. Don't take your dreams too serious. It's it's a movie of the stresses releasing from the body according to the patterns of how you think or how you have gained impressions. Like sometimes you'll dream in a almost like a movie you've seen before, because you have seen a movie before that's similar to, you're just de-stressing and putting images and archetypes and energies, how they relate to each other. You're feeding it into a subconscious mind that already has a pattern for how to construct these archetypes in movies, because you've seen it. And then imbued with probably some insight and intuition, but it gets so obscured in everything. And that's what I'm saying. When you clear away the obscurities and then practice looking inward, you may see chakras. I have seen what I believe are chakra. And I also think, from what I have heard, a lot of what you'll see, I don't trust anything really fully that you see like on YouTube or Google or really anywhere, unless it's like very difficult to find or you have to pay for it. And even then, but if it's given away for free, if it's allowed to be out there, I think that it's misleading in some way, that it's allowed, it's past the filter. And so everything with a grain of salt, there's always a story behind everything. And then how much do I want to get wrapped up in that? And not really, but I'm just saying that there is a lot of truth in what's out there. It's just an analogy I've said, I don't know how effective it is, but if you had a map and it was very, very accurate, but you had one or two things that were not accurate on the map that were relevant to getting to where you want to go, it would totally fuck up. Like even if just you didn't have the right location of the destination, one thing wrong and it messes up the whole trip. So the news or documentaries, they may give a lot of truth and then just throw you off where, but so one idea I have heard is the storage of information in water. The storage of information in water. And I believe there's so much that we don't know about the quantum realm when you get down that low or that small. An ability to store information in water. Now, we are a water vessel on land. Land around us is pretty dry, but we're a walking bag of water and bone, which is mostly water. And the light, our light, as we look outward, if you look in a mirror, you see your eyeball. That means a photon is moving from your eyeball to the mirror and backwards from the mirror to your eyeball. That's how you see your own eyeball. There's light going outward from your looking. From the deepest inward, the deepest source, looking outward, it acts as light, so to speak. It's how we perceive it. It's not really light, but it's perceived as light. It's awareness is what it is. But that we just, So now as light passes through water, what happens? Rainbow. Boom. If you've ever seen the chakras, that's kind of how they're depicted. Now, information in water. Okay, so your consciousness, this is sexual chakras is what we're talking about. Your consciousness goes through these parts of your body and comes out as, we perceive them as these colors, but there's a program in those energy areas that is related to different qualities of consciousness or different levels or frequencies, you could say, because red would be longer wave, blue would be shorter wave. Longer wave means top to top, or shorter wave would be top to top, right? So these frequencies of consciousness. Now, root chakra is survival, male. Sacral chakra is sex, reproduction, female. Or provider, seducer. To provide, to seduce. Sacral or solar chakra is ego, capitalism. Heart chakra is socialism and social relations. It's the social isms and the capital isms or egoisms. Throat chakra is the right to free speech. Third eye chakra is the right to practice your own religion. And crown chakra is I am. It's just I am. That's all it is. It's just I am. It's open. It's not really that necessary to even think about that one. That one enables us to be observant of these others. Provide, seduce. Capital, social. Speak and believe. Believe what you want to believe. You're perceiving even what I'm saying right now in up here. You're listening, which is a throat chakra action, actually. But you're perceiving and you're constructing your own imagery of what I'm saying while you're looking at me, if you're looking at me also. And that's up here. And you're relating with me and the people in your life. You are part of a hive mind, heart. I don't know if that's the right word. A hive mind would have like a queen or an emperor. It's not really like that. But there's a communal consciousness that is the heart. You see, like communism and socialism at its purest ideological essence, it's a decent idea. It makes sense. But it's trying to fit a bunch of, it would be like, I don't know, dressing up your dog and having it drink tea with you or something. Like it can't be a human. It's not going to be a human. You can't sit it in the car and strap it in a seatbelt. You can't force people to become numbers where everybody shares equally, because that's what makes the most sense. We're not robots like that. And the arts and creativity comes from the competitiveness, actually. You know, the ego-ness, the solar plexus, your expression of your individuality for selfish reasons. And sex, your sex chakra, your sacral chakra above your root chakra, at the base root tailbone, tip of the tailbone, wherever the tailbone is pointing, right where it's pointing, just beyond that is this energy area where the light of your awareness, when it goes through there, is a red. It's a red color, a crimson blood color. When the light of your awareness goes through your middle upper front sacrum, so it's like it's your lower belly, it's in front of it, the light goes through there, it's this orange color. And it's on up the rainbow, on up the spine. Now, as you sit and meditate, I teach this in the silent flute, and you should all, I think you're all in the silent flute, the people that are mostly live. I don't know, people on YouTube are kind of, they're free right now. So I'll be kind of ending it here. There's deeper processes in the silent flute for how to settle yourself and to experience the chakras. But why? Why would you want to experience them? Is for self-awareness, really. It's just to integrate yourself. When you integrate the energy, because it's a reality that is happening. You have chakra. They are part of the subtle body. They are interacting in this way. And you are relating with them in this way. But they may be very unintegrated. And so your energy may get stuck. And it's a almost invisible way to, kind of like I did here. There was impressions on this board that you couldn't do nothing about because the marker had erased and it was written there for so long, it was stained. And I could write over top of it, but there's always this thing underneath it. And all I needed was some technology, which was this cream right there. It's up in the cabinet. I just needed the technology of cream, this particular, all natural bio, whatever cream, and put some on it, rub it in. And now is it perfect? No. Is it better? Yeah. If I wanted to get it perfect, I could probably dedicate, I could get the right squeegee. Who knows? Who knows? And one day it could even reincarnate into a brand new one, fabricated from zero, that doesn't have any impressions on it. But we are kind of like that. Our mind has these impressions, and they're there until we can erase them. If we don't erase them quick enough, which we never do, because only now are we becoming aware of them. Now if you go through a new kind of traumatic experience, you may a day or two after realize what's happened in your mind. You'll have more awareness of, oh, my mind separate from me is reacting. It's still reacting to what happened yesterday, even though I've moved on, but my mind is, you'll see it as a separate thing. And the chakra meditation, it's a wonderful, it's just a really cool thing. It's like, whoa, this is happening. Like I have chakra. I have the particular thought I'm having, it resonates almost like a guitar string or something with a different area of my spine, of this center lightning rod from the crown down through the tailbone. That rainbow goes up. My thought strikes a string differently here or there. And so as I'm meditating, different thoughts unprocessed, I process thoughts, they de-stress, and boom, they may resonate in different areas. Now, how important is it? Not that important until there's like and it just brings self-awareness. Sometimes thoughts can throw us off and there's a confusion. The sensitivity to such this ladder, or this, it's kind of like a ladder to heaven almost, from the base to the top. It can make one very sensitive to the principles of yoga, nonviolence and truth. But on a planet where everybody is mind washed to be overt, passive aggressively selfish, people get taken advantage of. You'll get taken advantage of, so sensitive. To calm your mind to the degree where you become so sensitive to these things and then re-engage with the world, you need a big buffer space. That's like what Mickey Singer would have, like a big retreat area where he's in a safe space with a lot of land, 700 acres or whatever, between him. And so there's a cushion, and when he goes somewhere, it's in a cocoon. He travels as a cocoon because the world is chaos. And it's evil. It's Satan's planet. It's all backstabbing, And so admire the guru that can go back into society and bring his good karma with him in exchange. But then it's no wonder that he gets lost in the ocean of attention and people manipulating and not speaking what they, the truth. And then for one to get so wrapped up in those dealings and stay sensitive to these subtle fluctuations inside, man, that's why we don't wish for rapid success, because then you could just get inserted somewhere where there's a lot of pressure on you and a lot of attention. You're not used to it. Like climbing is the way to do it. But when you're bringing the esoteric information that would get you censored, well, capitalism, socialism. The heart chakra is not better than the other chakras. It's just not. That's like saying the E note is better than the A note. It's just not. They put your attention there so that you become socialist. Because an imbalance is an imbalance wherever it is. It does something different wherever it is, but it's an imbalance. They push that so that they can suppress this, the solar plexus. So just be aware, right? So you need wisdom in addition to just like the science of yoga. That's why I cut the science already and I give you a little wisdom, and I'm going to cut the wisdom because you should join the silent flute. If you catch this recording, subscribing to the channel is not enough. Following the podcast is not enough. You should go to ninthlimb.com and get the tech, right? We're meeting twice a week now and you get the whole archive. All right. So that's the recording. I'll stick around for the live audience and answer any questions. And for everybody on the recordings, until next time, namaste.